There is a dangerous amount of confidence that comes from having played something before. You're going to remember enough to believe you know what you're doing, you just don't remember enough to actually know what you're doing. And that's basically where I'm starting this Convergence run. See, I played this mod about a year ago, built something fairly disgusting, and made it into learning before moving on. Since then, apparently everything has changed again. So we're going back in. Every region, every dungeon, every boss I can find. And we're going to be starting it with Bestial Devout, because I remember just enough about this class to potentially make several irresponsible decisions. Okay, the starting area is definitely different. The old opening had been replaced by what appears to be a Vatican of tutorial information, with multiple explanations everywhere. Probably several extremely useful instructions about how this version of Convergence actually works. And naturally, we're going to learn through experience, and by experience, I mean dying. Now, the rules of this run are pretty loose. Mostly region locked, no summons unless they're actually built into the counter, and we're going to be checking everything. Caves, dungeons, bosses, weird corners of the map that absolutely certainly nothing, but that way I'll investigate anyway because apparently walking past unopened doors causes me emotional distress. But there's going to be one larger objective. I know Convergence lets you build some ridiculous characters, so we're going to find out exactly how powerful the Bestial Devout can become. Preferably before Limgrave finishes beating the confidence out of me. There is one thing I remember being somewhere around here, the Kanabo. Not exactly a complicated weapon, it's a short sword, but it feels like a giant club the way it acts. This tactical philosophy is mostly what if problem, but smashed. I'm comfortable with that philosophy. The only question was whether Convergence still had moved it or not. And there it is. Excellent. However, we ran into a problem. 25 strength required. Not excellent. So we have successfully completed step 1, find new weapon. Step 2, become physically capable of lifting the said weapon. Apparently we're doing character development in traditional sense. Time to go get runes. And the first stop to go get new runes, Invader Nerijus. Now I remember Nerijus, which was my first mistake. Okay, updated information. Nerijus has hands. The first attempt lasted long enough to establish that my memories from a year ago are not legally binding. So this time we're going to exercise something resembling judgment. Now Yura will eventually show up because he's part of the encounter. That does not violate the no summon rule. This is simply accepting community resources. And apparently community resources have very limited operating hours. From one highly trustworthy individual to patches. There are a few constants across From Software games. Pain, poison, swamps, deeply questioned architecture, and patches eventually doing something that makes violence feel morally reasonable. Today, however, I'm mostly here for his stuff. And now we have enough strength. The Kanabo is officially operational. This weapon was ridiculous the last time I played Convergence, and based off approximately 4 seconds of scientific testing, it still remains ridiculous. The stagger is excellent, the skill hits hard, and it possesses one enormously important quality. It solves problems without requiring me to understand them. This may become our control experiment for the entire run. New boss, completed mechanic, strange resistance, multiple phases. Before we can investigate any of that, have we tried hitting it with a Kanabo? Now this is going to be where old Convergence knowledge starts becoming useful, sort of. I recognize locations, I remember certain remnants, I know roughly where some things should be. But enough has moved around that every confident statement I make should probably come with a legal fine print. Still, we're starting to build something. We've got the Kanabo, some bestial abilities, we've got a few pieces that should eventually let us keep the pressure rolling. We're nowhere near broken yet, but I can still see the beginnings of irresponsible behavior. And then I remember this guy, the Duelist. I fought him in the old version, I knew roughly what to expect, and by this point I had acquired a nice sword, killed Nerijus, robbed patches, and developed what medical professionals would probably describe as inappropriate confidence. So this should be fine, right? There was one small problem with that. This man appears to have eaten another health bar, and I'm barely leveled. The Kanabo isn't even upgraded, my vigor is questionable, and the Duelist apparently received comprehensive medical knowledge with unlimited hit points. Okay, he's officially becoming a problem. Not because the fight is mechanically insane, he's just asking me to play reasonably well for considerably longer than I would prefer, which is kind of rude of him. At this point, I knew one more bleed would probably finish him, and now we enter the most dangerous portion of every Souls fight, knowing you're close to winning, but not winning quite yet, because this is usually where a strategy gets replaced by get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. But finally, he is dead, we won, and I still am somehow annoyed, which means the Duelist gets the honor of becoming the first official member of something I think we're going to need during this playthrough, the Redemption List. Any enemy that embarrassed us so badly enough gets added. Later, when this build has some levels, upgrades, and actual dignity, we should settle the count. Not necessarily against the exact same enemy, but something bigger, stronger, meaner. Same principle though. The Duelist is number one. I suspect membership will grow rapidly. So, episode 1 taught us a few things. Convergence has changed more than I expected. My old knowledge is useful, but increasingly suspicious. The Bestial Devout still has some serious potential, the Kanabo remains an extremely sophisticated piece of problem-solving equipment, and we desperately need more vigor. We're building the character, we're learning a new balance, and slowly we're going to push this thing toward the actual goal, becoming legally overpowered. Right now, though, we're not there. We're basically an underdeveloped, leveled Bestial Devout carrying a giant short sword and operating primarily on unhealthy confidence. But we've got all of Limgrave in front of us, a growing list of bosses to kill, and one name already written into the redemption list. Next time we're going to keep exploring, we keep building, and we find out exactly how many problems can be solved by hitting them extremely hard with a large piece of wood or metal. Go be awesome, people.